What's up, everyone? Former Division I quarterback Matthew Downing here. I played in the SEC, the Big 12, the Group of 5, and the FCS. Excited to share my experience breaking down college quarterback film for the rest of the college football season, understanding why quarterbacks are making the decisions that they're making and why coordinators are calling the plays that they're calling. Thanks so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
From him all there, right. First play to the left.
This week we're talking Gunner Stockton of the Georgia Bulldogs. And as a former Georgia quarterback myself, I love seeing great QB play out of these Georgia quarterbacks. Coach Smart has his team playing their best brand of football right now, and the growth from week 1 going into week 13 for Gunner Stockton is very real. They played one of the best defenses in the country in the Texas Longhorns. They put up 35 points. Not only did he have 5 total touchdowns, but an 83% completion percentage. The best part about it is the tape matched the stats. He's playing at a very high level, has a dang good chance of heading to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Let's get into the film, and I'm going to tell you why. First drive of the game here, 2nd and 7. Georgia is in a 3-by-2 look here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3-by-2. This is a running back out wide. I want to note this. This is a running back. Texas is playing cover 3 weak here. They're going to have the safety weak rotated in the boundary. They're going to have a deep third player, ends up being a deep third player. Now, Georgia's running a sail concept. You're going to have a mandatory outside release here by the back. Mandatory outside release, dive in, 18 to 22. This motion, this wrap motion here, forces communication and let these guys move on a string with a lead blocker out wide. You're going to have a deep basic on the backside. I want to show why Gunner Stockton does such a good job of this ball placement here. You see him bring the motion. They're moving on a string, moving out there, and the sail route. Now, watch the eyes of this corner. He has his eyes in the backfield, but also feels the outbreaking route. He doesn't have to necessarily respect this back running down the field all the way because he is a running back. He's not a wide receiver. He falls off on the receiver. You see him falling off, trying to make a play on the ball. Gunner Stockton puts it back shoulder on this sail route, protecting his guy and avoiding throwing it into traffic and into possibly an interception. So you see the throw there. It's an excellent throw by him. We'll see it from the end zone shot here. You see the motion. He's bringing the motion. Taking his eyes to the outside. Mandatory outside release, rips the back shoulder, protects his guy for a first down. First drive of the game. 2nd and 9, Georgia here down in the red zone. First drive of the game. They're in a 3-by-1 bunch. You see this tight end nub set on the backside. Really good scheme right here. Using motion to create confusion, create miscommunication on the defense's end. So they're going to motion this receiver across the formation right here, and they're going to run a reverse, outside zone reverse naked. And I want you to see how these Texas players are communicating. They're already struggling to communicate over on the top half here. They're not really sure what's going on. Now with this motion, you see this corner run, and safety moving with him. It's causing a bunch of miscommunication and confusion on that end. You see Gunner Stockton reverse out for this zone action, and they're running naked. This tight end from the nub set slips across the backside of the formation. You're going to have a corner here, and then a late leak from this tight end as he smashes late leak. So Gunner's progression here is going to go flat 1, corner 2, and then this late leak 3. This flat gets held up by the defensive end. He makes a good collision with him. Gunner continues on and rips it as the corner works downhill. This is a very friendly angle and a good job by the receiver. As we roll back, as he comes out, instead of taking this super high and allowing this guy to undercut him, he clearly flattens it off and runs back towards the sideline, allowing Gunner to throw him away from that defender. It's exactly what he does. Good catch and throw for a touchdown to start the game for Georgia. 1st and 10 here, first play of quarter 2. Georgia's out here in a 3-by-1 formation into the boundary, FIB look here, as they're going to have 1, 2, 3, even 4 strong to the boundary with a single receiver to the top of the screen. Texas is playing cover one pressure. Cover one pressure is bringing more than four. They're bringing 5 players playing man-to-man across the board with a single high safety. So this corner is going to be man on, man on. This linebacker's man here. This linebacker's man on the running back, and you have man coverage right here. Now they're bringing the nickel in this instance. He is pressuring. Luckily for Georgia, they're in a 7-man max protection full slide, where you're going to see the entire line of scrimmage, full slide, tight end down, back will be right off the hip here for a full protection. Now Georgia's trying to take a shot. They're running a hitch and go with this off technique, trying to get this corner to bite and running a deep cross and a basic behind their head. Now I want you to watch the action of Gunner Stockton here. The hitch and go, no, sees it over the top. He climbs the pocket. Now I think it is a little bit excessive the way that he's moves sometimes in the pocket, where he's moving too far off of his spot, kind of creating his own pressure a little bit. Now he just moves subtly. He's in a good position to rip the football. Now it's a great completion, a little bit behind him, and his receiver, Zachariah Branch, does the rest. But I just want you to see this pocket movement on Gunner Stockton's end here. It's a good route, great catch. You see the full slide protection, back flash fake off the hip. He pumps. Now he doesn't have to climb up that far. He's now creating his own pressure moving into the lap of this offensive lineman. If he were to just move and stay right here, he's in a great spot, but he kind of over moves a little bit. Still a good throw, still a good catch. I'm just saying, for him to continue to improve, play at a really high level, and potentially want to play at the NFL level, you have to move subtly in your spot rather than drastically in your spot. All in all, it's a good throw and catch. Big time play from Zachariah Branch, Georgia receiver. 3rd and 4 here for Georgia, down in the low red zone. This is a big moment in the game as they score their 2nd touchdown. Now, Texas is playing cover 4 down here. They're going to play tight. He's pretty much man on here. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback. These 3 players are playing off these 3 guys right here, trying to figure out how they're going to match that. Now they pressure this Will backer here. Georgia is in a full slide again, max protection, picking this up, allowing them to have the one-on-one matchups with their receivers. Now, I want you to watch Gunner Stockton's eyes right here. He is staring down this safety to the boundary because he's trying to get it to his guy out here who's running a whip route. A whip route would be faking the slant and then whipping back out flat towards the sideline. Gunner Stockton does a really good job staring down the safety, trying to hold him in the middle so he's not breaking on it. Also with this dropper here, holding him here so he's not trying to get underneath this whip route. He rips it to the sideline. It's a good route, enough separation, but a good ball. You see the hand trying to get out there, but it's to the sideline away from the Texas defender. Really good ball placement for a touchdown here in the low red zone. And what I love about it, you see Gunner Stockton staring down that Texas sideline. He's fired up. The motion that he's playing with, that's who you want playing at quarterback. A guy playing with heart, a guy playing with passion, some moxie to the other team. It's a big-time throw from Gunner Stockton. I want you to watch his eyes here. You see him staring right here, holding this safety. The dropper ends up holding him as well. And he's going to throw this whip route. Excellent ball placement. You see it away from this Texas defender who's playing decent coverage. Not good enough, but decent coverage for the touchdown. And then you see Gunner Stockton staring down Sark in this Texas sideline for Georgia, setting the tone. Welcome to the state of Georgia and how we play football. Really good job. All right, I have this on here for the full command that Gunner Stockton is showing within this Georgia offense. This is an incompletion, but he's going to motion his tight end here, and he's re-IDing this protection to the offensive line. I want you to see this mic point. He's pointing out this mic backer here. He sees something, what he's been preparing all week for, watching on tape. Maybe it's the demeanor of his feet. He's trying to plant, knowing that he's going to pressure rather than, hey, I don't think this Will backer over here is going to pressure. So let's move the mic point. We're going to ID to this mic. They're changing the protection. And guess who ends up coming? This Mike backer Really, really good job. The preparation throughout the week, he has full command of this offense, re-IDing protections to make sure that they're good to go in a really good play. Ends up being an incompletion, but it's a really good job from Gunner Stockton re-IDing and taking full command of that offense. P and 10 here for Georgia. P and 10 means it's the first play of the drive. Play it and go. Play in 10. So P and 10 here. Georgia is in a 3-by-1 formation in the boundary again. We're going to have receiver, tight end. Back is weak, away from the passing strength. You're going to have a single receiver at the top right here. Now, I want you to watch this nickel here from Texas. His demeanor. They're going to go in an across-the-ball motion here from Georgia. You see his demeanor. That's not how DBs typically play. DBs typically are more squared up, ready to play coverage. That should give you a tell, hey, something's going on here. And you see the safeties rotating down with the motion, allowing for this play, Mike Bobo in his bag, dialing it up for a perfect coverage. Now what Georgia's going to have here is they're going to be pulling this guard in protection, trying to invite the rush, quick play action to try to hit Oscar Delp here as the tight end. The guard and the back do an excellent job picking this up in protection. The guard is going to pull and pick up this end man on the line of scrimmage, kind of slows him down as they block down, and he's like, hey, is this run? So I need to play my surf technique to try to play the quarterback. Back comes off the fake and picks up the nickel here in protection on the blitz. Oscar Delp running a seam right behind this Mike backer's head, and Gunner Stockton throws a great ball. Throws it over the mic on the backside of Oscar Delp, so he's catching it away, putting his back to the safety so he doesn't take on a collision or he's not taking on an opportunity for this Texas safety to pick it off. Really good throw, protects his guy for an explosive play here for Georgia. Now I want you to watch this protection. They're going to pull this right guard here. As they bring the motion over, that nickel hasn't moved. Now, you see how this Texas defensive end is running down the line of scrimmage because he sees the pulling. He's like, hey, this is a run. And now he has to redirect. Now that it's a pass, slows down, waiting for this guard to come collision him. The back goes and picks up the nickel, giving Gunner Stockton enough time to rip it down the seam. You see how he throws it over the mic, away from the free safety, protecting his guy for a big-time first down there for Georgia. We have 2-by-2 here from Georgia, similar to the play earlier in the game where they tried to throw the hitch and go and he ended up throwing the cross to Zachariah Branch. They're going to be in a 2-by-2, having Zachariah Branch in a little wing set, using this fast motion out here to create leverage and try to miscommunicate these guys again with motion. What ends up happening, they've thrown a few screens to Zachariah Branch on the edge so far. So they're gonna bluff this now screen, try to slip Oscar Delp down the sideline here. Now what they're gonna have on the backside again here is a deep crosser and then a backside deep basic. Now what happens here with Gunner Stockton, he should see already, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna have Oscar Delp down the sideline. Let's get through my progression across the field to this cross. He wants to throw it with anticipation, but he should be throwing this football right now if he wants to throw it. You see him kind of hitch again. He sits on it. Allows this Mike backer, who's very, very talented player, to get in that hook window. Makes a big-time interception. Very athletic play, but you also see this Will tracking back towards the football, so it may not have ended well either way. It's a costly interception there in the game, but ends up making up for it later on. I want you to watch Gunner Stockton and how kind of late he is to the cross. So he sends the guy in motion, fakes this now screen. He knows, you see his eyes are already moving back this way. Now these Texas defenders are looking, okay, what's over there? Hitch, sitting on it, and then throws it. Now this window, it's a very tight window. He's playing well. He's throwing it well. He probably feels good. Hey, I can fit it in there. This is an excellent play. Super athletic. This is one of the best linebackers in the country here for interception for Texas. But Gunner Stockton just, hey, let's get through it quicker, throw in more anticipation, or let's move off of it, get to our backside basic, and rip it to him. 4th and 1, only up 4 in this game. After that timeout, Coach Smart decides to go for it on 4th down. Huge call here. Georgia is lined up in 23 personnel grouping. 23, which is 2 running backs and 3 tight ends. 2 running backs, 3 tight ends in the game. They have 2 guys back here, 1 tight end, 2 tight end, 3 tight end. Now, this is something Georgia shifted into. We'll see it from the end zone shot. But this is a run. They ran fullback dive earlier in the game for a conversion. This is their wrinkle off of it. Reverse out, fake the dive, running back fast to the flat. This tight end here is draining these guys out. Gets him in the flat, out leverages his defense for a critical 4th down conversion in that football game. I want you to see them shift to it. They run up quickly to the line of scrimmage. Here comes the shift. Now Texas is trying to figure out, what do we do? What's going on here? They're moving the front. They're in a 5-man front. They're playing a cover 0, which is 0 safety help, man-to-man coverage across the board. They don't know the responsibilities over here. Who has the back? The run right here, them running it earlier in the game, this linebacker safety has to respect that back and try to go stuff the run and stop him on 4th down. What ends up happening is this is his guy. He hesitates, doesn't know where he's going. Back goes to the flat. Miscommunication for a 1st down there for Georgia. Big conversion in the game. 4th quarter, we have 1st and 10 here for the Georgia Bulldogs. This was the touchdown that they scored up the seam. Kirk Herbstreit talked about it a little bit, that switch release vertical. But what really did it was this motion here from Mike Bobo and the Georgia offense. They start in a 2-by-2 set, 2 receivers here, 2 receivers here with the back here to the boundary. They're going to motion this tight end Oscar Delp in. Now, forcing these 2 defensive backs for the University of Texas to exchange or communicate responsibilities. Now, they should be figuring out, okay, I have one guy, you have the other guy, or, hey, if one goes inside and the other goes outside, we're going to switch responsibilities. Georgia, again, pulls the guard to slow down this rush, slow down this defensive end, so he has to play the run first instead of rushing the quarterback, pinning his ears back immediately. They fake the toss. The end goes up the field. Left guard does a good job picking it up, but you see this switch release at the bottom of the screen here. These guys exchange responsibilities right up the seam. Both players take this tight end who went in motion, leaving this receiver by himself down the seam, throws it away from the safety. Easy, wide open touchdown for Georgia. And this is a byproduct of Mike Bobo using motion to create leverage and create this miscommunication for the Texas defense. Motions him in. You see the left guard pull. It slows down this DN. He has to respect that toss. Now, guard picks him up, has enough time to rip this seam. Great ball, wide open player for a touchdown for Georgia. 2nd and 6. This is the drive right after Coach Smart calls the onside kick, the stones to be able to do that. Now, people have been talking about Mike Bobo. He was in his bag all night long. Another example of it. Georgia is in 13 personnel here. They're going to have 1 running back, 3 tight ends. They have 4 strong to the field. This is a really good play design. Gunner Stockton's a dual threat quarterback, so what they're going to do is they're going to fake this zone read, and they're going to have 2 lead pullers on the backside that are these tight ends. That's how you can design the quarterback to get on the edge with some lead blockers. Now, what do they do with it? Gunner Stockton, he's holding it in his arm like he's running with the football, inviting these Texas defenders to go at him. Well, he's still behind the line of scrimmage. And what does Lawson Lucky, this tight end here, do? He acts like he's lead blocking, then slips right here to the corner. Gunner Stockton dumps it off to him. You see, inviting all of these guys to play the run, dumps it right over their head. This is an awesome play design by Mike Bobo, dialing it up right after the call to kick an onside kick to dump it for a touchdown. Huge lead for Georgia at this point. Georgia is in 23 personnel here again, 3rd and 4 down near the goal line. You're going to have, this is a tight end over here. This is a tight end. They're playing like receivers, but that is tight end personnel with 1 to 2 running backs in the backfield. They're in this I formation here, again, using motion to try to confuse this Texas defense. You see Oscar Delp go in motion here. They're going to fake this outside toss play and into a boot. So they're going to have Oscar Delp coming across the formation into the flat Texas DNs have done a good job picking up these flat routes. Now, what he should have is a 2-level throw, flat, back here to the corner, and then a backside drag on the backside. Now, this tight end to the field on this corner route is not getting out there quick enough. I'm not sure what he's taught to do, what the spacing is supposed to be like, but if you can see the spacing right here, these two players are right on top of each other. Texas players chasing him. Not a good place to throw the ball. What does Gunner Stockton do? Uses his legs, this dual threat, calls his own number to finish it off for Georgia. Puts the cherry on top. You see how fired up he is. That's the passion and the type of player that he is. Georgia seems to be ascending at the end of the year rather than flatlining or falling off. That's the difference with the Georgia football culture in winning championships. In the month of November, into December, and then on to January to play in the national championship, that's when they're going to play their best ball, put their foot on the gas, and separate themselves from the rest of the country. Hope you enjoyed this Gunner Stockton breakdown.